It just seems to me that since she is in an interracial marriage, she should have known that to support a racist is problematic. Her children are biracial, and her family is one of the families that in the 70s could not have lived in any of Donald Trump's buildings.
If you've been watching my videos, then you know how I feel about The View, in particular Sunny Holston, who I believe is a racist because of the way that she talks and views white people. And in this video, she proves my point by attacking Patrick Mahomes' wife, Brittany, because of her support for Donald Trump. And when you hear what she said, you might lose your mind too. But let's start at the very beginning.
This is away from football, but former President Trump referenced you and your family again today on Fox News in relation to his campaign. I just wonder what your reaction is to seeing that.
Yeah, I think I've always said I don't want my place and my platform to be used to endorse a candidate or do whatever. Either way, I think my place is to inform people to get registered to vote. It's to inform people to do their own research and then make their best decision for them and their family. And so I think that's every time I'm on this stage and I get asked these questions, I'm going to refer back to that because I think that's what makes America so great.
I think it was important, though. I don't know if important is the right word, but when you were at the U.S. Open this past weekend and you guys were there with Taylor and Travis, I mean, is that an important image to show that, you know, people who may have different philosophies can...
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always, even dating back, I think if you've seen my history, I've grown up with people from every aspect of life and every background. And I think the best thing about a football locker room and kind of how I've grown up in baseball locker rooms, everything about that is people can come together and achieve something and achieve a common goal. And I think if we can, I mean, we talked about it a while back, but I think if we can do that as a nation, I think we can get the best out of each other. And so I think that's something that I do every single day. And whenever I'm hanging out with whoever, I'm not thinking about their political views or anything like that. I'm thinking about the people and how they treat other people. And I was with a lot of great people this weekend.
Now, this is why he is currently the best in the league right now. Not because of his talent on the field, but the way that he handles the media. It's very professional. He's not trying to push a political message. And when you're talking about sports or you're talking about Hollywood or you're talking about music, I don't believe politics should be injected into that. I think they are their own niche and they should stay that way. That doesn't mean that these individuals are not allowed to speak on politics. I just think when you're on the clock, like this would be on the clock. This is part of his job to answer to the media, right? Showing up to game day, going to practice. During those periods, I don't think they should be involved in politics at all. Now, he's responding to what Trump had to say when he noticed that Patrick Mahomes' wife, Brittany, liked one of his Instagram posts. Let's hear what Trump had to say.
Out of nowhere, after the debate last night, Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala Harris. What do you think?
Well, I actually like Mrs. I actually like Mrs. Mahomes much better, if you want to know the truth. She's a big Trump fan. I was not a Taylor Swift fan. It was just a question of time. She couldn't. You couldn't possibly endorse Biden. You look at Biden, you couldn't possibly endorse him. But she's a very liberal person. She seems to always endorse a Democrat, and she'll probably pay a price for it at in the marketplace. But no, I like Brittany. I think Brittany's great. Brittany got a lot of news last week. She's a big MAGA fan. That's the one I like much better than Taylor Swift.
Now, obviously, Donald Trump is going to say that, right? Because this is his personality. He's going to call it out. And that's fine. But one of the big things that's standing out to me so far, hearing both of these responses from what Brittany Mahomes did, is something that I really want for this country, to where you shouldn't allow who you're voting for to disrupt your relationships. Okay. Now, I do believe, obviously, who you're married to. I think it's hard to be married to someone who doesn't share the same political views. That's just my opinion. But if you're talking about someone you work with, or if you're talking about someone at church, or you're just talking about some of your friends, I mean, at the end of the day, the relationship should matter more than who you're voting for. Now, that obviously is how I feel. But I also know the reality is we live in a country today where, you know, if I walk outside and I'm wearing a Make America Great Again hat, a MAGA hat, red, I know that I'm going to get some crazy looks, right? I know that. we just heard how the security guard at the Arizona Cardinals Stadium kicked out someone because of their MAGA hat. So, the reality is there's one side that's absolutely more aggressive in cutting people off, censoring people, being prejudiced against people because they support Trump. You'll never see the same level of backlash that Brittany Mahomes got if someone goes out and endorses Kamala Harris, right? We know that Usher endorsed Kamala Harris. We know that different celebrities endorse Kamala Harris. They'll never receive the same backlash if it was the other way around. Now, really quick, in case you didn't see what Brittany Mahomes did, let's take a look at that. Okay, so Donald Trump put up this post on Instagram, and all she did was like it. And it's actually 20 promises that he's made to, if he was going to be elected, these are the 20 things that he's going to do. And just for a second here, isn't this what you want from a candidate, to put where they stand and what they're going to do? That's what Kamala Harris seems to not do. It's like she's allergic to doing this, put up something that makes it clear on what you're going to do and where you stand. But anyways, I digress. So she liked this post. And then it led to his response where he says, I want to thank beautiful Brittany Mahomes for strongly defending me and the fact that MAGA is the greatest and most powerful political movement in the history of our now failing country. With crime and illegal immigration totally out of control, inflation ravaging all Americans, and a world that is laughing at the stupidity of our hapless leaders, it is nice to see someone who loves our country and wants to save it from doom. What a great couple. See you both at the Super Bowl. Now, this is what he put up on Truth Social. Now it's time to get into the backlash that she received. Started with her having to respond to that. And this is what she said. I mean, honestly, to be a hater as an adult, you have to have some deep-rooted issues you refuse to heal from childhood. There's no reason your brain is fully developed and you hate to see others doing well. Yeah, I mean, listen, this is, again, the difference of the political violence or political rhetoric. If you support Trump, you're more likely to get a lot of hate versus if you support Kamala Harris. That's just what it is, especially if you're a celebrity. Now, you don't have to be a scientist to know this is true. Why? Because most of Hollywood, most of the athletes, most celebrities, most people in the entertainment industry are liberal. So when you don't claim to be liberal and you're conservative, oh yeah, you stand out completely. Now, obviously, it's one thing to get some hateful comments in your DMs. It's another to hear what Sunny Holston had to say about you on The View. Check this out.
Yeah, that does make me hopeful, actually, that this Swift effect will speak to more women about the true character of Donald Trump and will turn them away. But to your initial point, I know you said we weren't going to talk about it, but I was. It just seems to me that since she is in an interracial marriage, she should have known that to support a racist is problematic. Her children are biracial, and her family is one of the families that in the 70s could not have lived in any of Donald Trump's buildings. So it just seems to me that maybe she's just not that politically savvy, or maybe she's just not read in.
Granted,
but it's
all we know is that she liked a Trump post. We don't know. She hasn't stated that she supported him, but that's fair to interpret that she may have. But we don't know that she's a supporter.
Yeah, okay. Like I will, I'll take all of that. But I'm just saying, pick your champions, babe.
Okay, so the bigger picture is I don't know how this show is still on the air. Oh, of course I do. It's because it's owned by ABC. I mean, which is owned by Disney. But anyways, so what does you having to be in an interracial marriage have to do with you liking a post from Donald Trump? And let's not forget here, people, the same people that call him a racist are the same people that posed with him before he even ran for president. He was on this very show where they were hugging him and kissing him on the cheek and telling him how much of a good person he is. The same people. Now, all of a sudden, he's a racist. Where was that energy then? Right? I find that to be so rich from these women. So this speaks to the bigger issue here. If you're in an interracial marriage, then you shouldn't be supporting Donald Trump. That's pretty much what Sunny Holston is digging at. And that you should have known better. Sunny Holston, who are you to tell someone what they should know? Right? Like that's the arrogance I'm talking about, right? That's why a part of me just believes these women are evil. With the way that they speak about Donald Trump, You know, it's okay to disagree with his policies. Heck, it's okay to say, you know what, I just don't like his personality. But they always cross the line by using dangerous rhetoric. We know this. And I'm not going to waste time complaining about it. I'm just speaking to the character that they have. They're too busy complaining about Trump all day, but the way that they complain about him says more about them than it does about Trump. Now, if we exercise some emotional maturity, we would know that just because someone likes a post doesn't mean they agree with that person 100% of the time. Doesn't even mean that they overwhelmingly support the person. That post that Donald Trump put up is something that every American wants to see from their political figures, especially if they're running for the president of the United States. We all want to see, what are your policy positions? What are you going to do for this country? I want to see the same thing from Kamala Harris. Why hasn't she put anything up? Now, let's keep it real. I find that the athletes who avoid answering those political questions, I think most of them are going to vote Trump. And it speaks to the larger issue that I think Democrats are not noticing, especially Kamala Harris, is that there are going to be so many people, millions of people who are going to show up and vote for Donald Trump, but never say anything. Silent majority. Why are they never going to say anything for what you're seeing right now? Brittany Mahomes has never done anything controversial. She's not an evil person. She doesn't spend all of her days attacking people online. All she did was like an Instagram post, and this is what she got in return. No wonder people won't say anything about who they're going to vote for. And when we say who they're going to vote for, it's because they're going to vote for Trump. People don't have a problem voting for Kamala Harris and telling people. But there's a lot of people who have a problem telling people that they're going to vote for Trump because they don't want to deal with the Trump derangement syndrome, the emotional reaction that people are going to give them. So a person is really left with two choices. You could tell people who you're going to vote for, or you could tell people who you're not going to vote for. And you're not wrong either way. It's your own personal choice. I don't care at the end of the day who you're going to vote for. I don't lose sleep over that. But for some reason, people on the left lose sleep when a celebrity or someone who's a political figure or public figure says that they support Trump. Then they get all this stomach virus face reactions, right? It's just sad. So that's my opinion. What do you guys think about Sunny Hostin? I kind of think I know what you think about her as a person. So I want to hear what your thoughts are about this and more in the comments section below. Thank you for checking out the video today. Stay grateful, stay focused, and stay true. Peace.